All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is David Murphy, publisher of the National Black Unity News. We are here today because I'm highlighting people who are involved, who are editors in the National Black Unity News. We want to share a little bit more information about who they are and what they do. They do great work with the publication, but we believe that you need behind the scene, there are real people doing wonderful and great works. And we just want to let you know them a little bit more better. And speaking of the National Black Unity News, it's a publication by us and for us. It's a solution-oriented publication. And it is circulated locally, nationally, and internationally. So we encourage you to get a subscription to this publication. We encourage you to participate with this publication because, again, it's for us and it's by us. Today, I want to bring on this gentleman who I have the utmost respect for. This gentleman by the name is Rico Crawley, and he runs an organization called God's Giving Hands. And they do wonderful work here in the Baltimore area. And they've been doing this for some time. And before we get into what God Giving Hands actually do, you know that in this days and times and things are not stable, you know, especially through this pandemic. A lot of people was out of work. A lot of organizations had to shut down because of the pandemic, and you know, everything has been uprooted. But nevertheless, people still have to eat. They still need clothing. They still need shelter. And unfortunately, everybody was not able to do that. And thank God for organizations like God Given Hands. Today, I have with me a fellow soldier, a true worker. And I'm gonna tell you up front, this gentleman, you know, it's an honor and privilege for him being here with today because he's the type of person that likes to stay behind the scene. You know, he don't like putting himself out there because, you know, it's not about him, it's about the work he does. And he will carefully explain that to you. But nevertheless, you know, we need to know those willing workers that push the machine, so to speak. And I have with me today my good friend, my fellow soldier, fellow man of God, Mr. Rico Crawley. How you doing, sir?
Good evening, Brother Murphy. How you doing? Peace and blessings, young man.
Peace and blessing to you as well.
Thank
And
you.
I know like I just mentioned, my brother don't like to say too much about himself, but I just want to ask him a few questions about God Given Hands. First of all, how did God Given Hands get started?
Okay. God's given hands been in existence, I guess, between 7 going on 8 years. And it, 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 it started, I was coming from church one day with a friend of mine, which was a Muslim guy. And he said to me, he said, do you want to know exactly how it was started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He said to me, he wanted to go feed the homeless. And he asked me would I go along with him. And I said, sure, I'll go along with you. So we got together, my sisters and my brothers, and we went down and started feeding the homeless people. And then we realized when we went there, we realized there was a serious need. So we continued going down and doing what we're doing today.
Okay. And thank God for that. You know, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I had the privilege and the pleasure of volunteering one day, and I watched their operation. And I'm gonna tell you something. You know, they had many tables laid out there with all types of foods and goods, all type of services, clothing. They had like council dental stuff. I mean, it was a whole slew of stuff out there they had that day. And they had quite a few volunteers. And and when the people got there, when they came there, you know, it was a long line of people, but the way they did this was such precision. And and like I said, I'm a very observant person. And I watched the people who were serving as well as those who was receiving Man, I'm gonna tell you something. The people that were serving, they just had this look upon themselves that they not only were they doing a great work, but I think they was receiving more than they was giving. That's the kind of reactions I was getting from. But most importantly, those who was being fed, who was being serviced, appreciated that, and they seemed like they felt comfortable with this organization. And then another amazing thing happened while I was there, ladies and gentlemen. They packed up all of them tables and all of that food they had to put together. I mean, they put all that stuff together, put them in cars and this, that. It wasn't that long, about a half hour later, we down at another location and they pulled all this stuff out and set up again. And there was another long line of people. And I was speaking to my brother overnight about this. It was like a military operation with such precision. The way, I mean, I was truly, truly amazed. But what was I was more amazed is that I seen people giving and I seen people receiving. And just by that name itself, God's giving hands, it's like a true to life sort of thing, because those hands that was given, I think the way I see it, the only God can do things like that, to organize people that work like that and move like that and to serve like that. It was truly amazing. And Brother Rico and I met at this organization called Black Men Unifying Black Men. And not only do he served through God's given hand, but I'm on the internet all the time. I see him here, there, and everywhere. He be at. I remember one of my dearly departed brothers, Mr. George Mitchell. He was setting up operation with him as well. Can you explain a little bit about that operation when it was taking place?
Okay, yes, I met with George Mitchell, and because we had not we, but Black Men Unifying Black Men had an event at George Mitchell's place up in Park Heights. So he said, look, one time, if you have an opportunity, come through and look at my operation. So I went through and I looked at his operation, and I was impressed with it. He said, is there anything that we can do together? I said, sure, we can come together with the food and the clothes and things of that nature. So Mr. George Mitchell said, okay, let's do that. So every Monday, we started off every Monday, was given the community, it was called the community, and we should give the community a hot meal that you can go through after you finish eating your hot meal. You can go through, get the clothes, hygiene products, we had laundry detergent and things of that nature. And then also Mr. Mitchell had where he had the food pantry, one of the largest food pantry, I'm gonna say in Baltimore. We partnership with them then. When they would they get with their food and things. And after they finish getting the food, they come over to God's given hands and get the clothing and things of that nature. But that's what happened with Mr. George Mitchell and God's given hands.
Yeah, and I also noticed that you be at this other location too. What's that brother name with the boxing thing?
That's Umar Boxing.
Yes. And I've seen you serving. Elaborate a little bit how you involved with that as well.
Well, Umar Boxing on North Avenue. Everybody know about Umar. Mm-hmm. And we partnership with Umar, and sometimes we go down to Umar's because he give items every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. So God's given hand sometimes goes with him and partner. He does the fresh fruits and vegetables, and what we do, we give canned goods and dry products, and that's what we do with Umar.
Okay. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You see, my brother, not only he does the original thing, but he also partners with other people as well. And let me just say this. I'm gonna get, like I say, this is a charitable organization, and like I say, when I witnessed this, somebody had to get the food, somebody had to cook the food, somebody had to collect the donations, set it up, separate stuff like that, And I know this is not an easy task, and with all charities, they need resources to continue to do the work that need to be done. And I'm gonna say this. I mentioned the pandemic. Even before the pandemic, there was a host of people just getting by, barely making it. And if it wasn't for people like them, a lot of our children would go hungry if they didn't have organizations like God Given Hands. Now I understand traditionally people will go out and give to some of these major, the Red Cross and all of this kind of stuff. But these are huge operations, and it's a well-known fact. By the time when you donate to these type of organizations, by the time, because they had a lot of administrative costs that they have to take care of, but the time it trickled down to those who need it, not that much left behind. But from the people like God Given Hands, it's an organization that comes from the heart, and they do what they can with what they have. And but I'm gonna ask my brother, and I know he don't like talking about this, but I'm gonna ask my brother, to do an operation such as God Given Hands. How do y'all get things done with the food? I mean, I don't want you to tell the whole stuff, but how do y'all assimilate, put together something like this the way y'all do it, and then go out to the community? Where the resources come from?
Okay, most of the resources come from in-house. There's a group of us that, put up our own finance. And we have a few donors that also help us. But since I have it, someone also includes some people that we work with too. We work with We Our Us. We've been dealing with We Our Us ever since they've been in existence. Also, we work with Mac Lewis Gym over in East Baltimore. We work with the Face Project, with Marlowe's. We touch base with a lot of different organizations because
Okay.
our responsibility is to give back to the community any way that we possibly can.
We will be right back after this message.
God's giving hands, may the work they are doing speak for them. We all have challenges in life, some more than others. Some are self-inflicted, some are forced upon us, and some are circumstances beyond our control. Given it will be given unto you. It is written, when you help others you are helping yourself. The purpose of human life is to serve, and to show compassion and the will to help others. We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. Give help rather than advice. No one has ever become poor by giving. We need volunteers and your support. No gift or donation is too small or too great.
Welcome back. Okay, and I just heard you mention that y'all dig deep into your own pockets to make these things happen. And like you say, you have some limited donors and things like that. But do you accept donations from the general public?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say this. I thank God. That I've been there and done a lot of things, and I call myself putting in work too. But there's many battles in different ways that we have to deal with. And I always say, by the grace of God, there go I. I could have been in that same situation. And then again, who knows, tomorrow I might be in that same situation. And so, but the type of operation that God Given Hands does, like I say, they bring plenty of resources, and you just heard for yourself. Now, they partner up with quite a few organizations, more than I was aware of, and that's a good thing, because it's not about themselves, they're about the service. Somebody serving, they there. And so I'm gonna ask you, this is David Murphy speaking, to support this organization, because I'm gonna say this personally. I hope you don't get upset with me, but I think from my own personal thing, God Given Hands is my favorite charity, because like I said, I've seen firsthand what they do and how they does it. And I'm encouraging y'all to support this brother, because like I say, you don't know, it may be one of your family members. Like I say, one day it may even be you who may need some help. But this is direct to us, to our people. And they just don't serve black people, they serve anybody who in need. So this ain't a black thing. This is about a servitude of helping people who needs help. And you know, they say charity begins at home, but you know, we need to take care of this brother. And I also want to mention that he's an editor in the National Black Unity News. And you will see some of his contact information in the paper as well. But I'm gonna say this. When you got people like Rico Crawley around us and with us who have that type of heart to serve, out of their own fruition. Like, ain't nobody twisting on me. They just do it because, you know, they see a need in the community. And we would have his information at the end of in our credits, how you can get in touch, how you can get involved. Now, do you also, Brother Rico, I know I've seen quite a few people there. So how does one, if they want to participate, how does one do that?
Okay, if basically what you can do, you can call me, and telephone number is 410-236-0942. That's 410-236-0942. Also, you can check us out on Facebook. That's God's Given Hands. Find us on Instagram and also YouTube if you want to see the type of work that we're doing.
Okay, and you know, he had quite a few pictures and videos and things. Like I say, you can see for yourself the work that they do and the people that they serve and the organization that they partner with. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna say this. You know, Rico Crawley, his team, and the people that they associate themselves with, even with the National Black Unity News, all I can say is a true blessing. Because see, it reminds me, you know, it humbles me to know, like I say, you know, we do a lot of work, but when you down, like I say, not only people that, you know, some people are working poor, they just don't have enough sometimes, you know, from month to month. And without people like Rico and Crawley, like I say, a lot of people will go hungry. And you never know why, because of all sorts of things going on, people being evicted and being homeless and mentally challenged and just having a rough time for the moment. And without people like Rico Crawley and God-given hands, man, you know, it's a godsend to have services around us who can take care of us when we in need. And so I, for one, like I say, will always support God-given hands because, like I say, they just don't talk about it. Matter of fact, they talk very little about what they do. They serve. And I heard me and my brother talk quite often sometimes. He says, it's not about me. It's not about us. He says, it's about our service. And, but you know, again, it wouldn't be a service if we didn't have brothers like Rico out there who have the heart to serve. So, Brother Rico, man, I'm gonna just say openly, publicly, man, I truly thank you, sir, for the work that you've done and the work that you continue to do. Because it's a godsend to have people like yourself out there on the front line. You know, y'all ain't back there just talking about we should do this. Y'all right there on the front line with the people, you know, and they don't know what they're gonna come up against from day when they go out there, but they're out there regardless. And I'm gonna say this, ladies and gentlemen, and they be out there in the cold with us. I mean, it ain't no seasonal thing. I've seen people with coats and stuff on there out there serving. I mean, dressed like Eskimos. And them brothers and sisters, I mean, man, it's such a great thing to see this, but you know, but it's unfortunately that people are in the situation. But since we are, because God himself said the poor will always be with us. And so since they always going to be with us, thank God we have people like Rico and them around and God-given hands around to take care of their needs. And Brother Rico, before we close out, because I just want to take this opportunity, and I invited you on this call because I believe people need to know more about God-given hand. And there's no need to ask you why they do the things they do because it's a need. they do it, because it's a need, like he said in the beginning. Him and his brother came down there and there was a need, and they stepped up to the plate. They just didn't talk about it. They did something. And I'm encouraging each and every one of y'all to do something. Because by the grace of God, again, there go us, or there go you. So support this great organization, God-Given Hands. And if there are ways, again, Brother Rico, to, you said they can call you, but if they want to donate, is there other ways that they can do that as well?
Yes, sir. But first I want to say, if it's okay, God's Given Hands is a nonprofit organization based in Baltimore City. And we serve the homeless community, low-income families, and our hardworking and people in need, and our hardworking low-income families all year long. We provide hot meals, grocery items, clothes, new and generally used, and also we provide hygiene products. Those are some of the services that we provide to the community, and then also like as we partnership with other people. And if they like to donate, they can find us on Facebook, like Facebook, Instagram, and we have a GoFundMe, that's God's Given Hands. We have a Cash App, which is God's Given Hands. And then if you decide you want to mail it in, it's God's Given Hands. And all that information is on Facebook and Instagram. I truly appreciate all that you do for us, Brother David Murphy.
Well, we'll be back after this message.
Some of the people in Baltimore are very condescending and rude and disrespectful to the people on the street, and they act like they're better than them. These people don't, like we're on an equal basis, and we laugh and joke, and we feel like family here.
There you go, sir. You're welcome.
Seeing a lot of homeless people on the streets, that make me feel, I don't know, feel ashamed for real, because it shouldn't be like this for real.
They're giving us food, they're giving us clothing, they're giving us personal hygiene items. These are all absolute necessities for human life that you got to have to be a human. Otherwise, you're like an animal.
God's Given Hand is an organization that's giving back to the community. Me and my parents, they always talk to me how I should be thankful, how I'm at home, like I could be somewhere else living on the streets and stuff. And you see them on the side and they don't really have anything, you think about all that you have, it's like, wow, and you just want to give back, help them out, just something little, just give them $1. You never know what that dollar could do.
The impact that God Given has on the community is that it shows that people care. It shows them that people are willing to come back and give them the time, affection, food, just that time. And I think that's important because most time homeless people don't think that people care, or they think that they're out, they're alone, and no one wants to help them out.
I don't even think we'd be in this situation right now. I just believe in giving to people, no matter what they're going through, who they are, no matter what color, ethnicity, it doesn't matter. It's just about everyone's human. Everyone falls on a hard time. So why not help them out?
Hot, thirsty, and it was a situation where I said, well, let me try to find me something cold to drink. Didn't have any money on me, okay, so I happened to come over here. I saw the group, and I know I'm familiar with them from seeing them before. So when I got over here, like I said, they had plenty of food, plenty of water, they had snacks, everything for to eat. So I got me some food, some hot food. I got me something to drink. I sat down for a minute and ate, and I'm a lot better now. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it so much. If nobody said thank you, Trump said, I want you to know that I thank you and that I appreciate it.
Welcome back. The feeling is mutual. Us helping us, it's like my brother used to say, fast change is no robbery. Like I said, we both serving in our own different ways, but we're serving. And you and I have a lot in common. See, it's not even about us. It's about the work that God has put in us. and we was faithful enough to, at least to move on it, to go out there. Like I always say, many are called, few are chosen, but even the chosen ones, only a few will actually go. And brother, you went, you stood up to the test of time. You stood up to no matter what, you had to do, but y'all put it together. You have it going. You said 7 or 8 years now, and they still serving, they still partnering with people. But again, doing all these things that they do, it's a price. It costs money to do that. And even freedom comes with a price. And so everything has a cost to attach to it, but you can sow in good ground. Good ground. Ain't talking about some of these things out here that takes the money, like I say, and never reaches objectives. You can see, like I say, they have pictures, and like I said, they're online. They transparent. They out there. You can see for yourself. They ain't just talking about it. You can actually see the works they do. And we will have a commercial in here, and you will even hear one of the testimonies of one of the people that serve, that they serve, how they feel about them, man. It's some powerful stuff, man. And like I said, man, I'm pleased. I'm honored, man, and I'm humbled because, like I said, I have witnessed firsthand. I even had the privilege of even writing an article about them. And man, and I'm gonna tell you something. I get up 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's what I get very inspirational. But when I was writing the article about God-given hands, man, it was so, I'm talking about emotional for me, because like I say, that title, I love the title, but when I was writing this article, it was like a thing, like God was speaking right through the pen, because like I say, I never witnessed nothing like this before. And I've seen people do this and seen people do that. I've seen where churches will give away food, and I've seen quite a few things but I've never seen an operation like God-given hand. And like I say, just the people themselves that were serving, like I say, and the people that was being served, it was just so beautiful the way they did it, and the way the people received it, as well as the ones who was giving it. And the precision that they worked in. Like I said, the way they packed up, loaded up them trucks, and next thing you know, unpacked and did it all over again, just like that. In such a short period of time. And like I say, man, it was an honor and a privilege. And brother Rico, in closing, I know you're not a man for many words, but you're a man of action. But is there anything that you want to share in closing about some of the things that you do, or some of the things that you may need to help you, to assist you to keep this thing operating and going? Because this is some rough times, people going through so many changes in the pandemic, but you're still there. But is there anything that that you want to share, or about some of the needs that you have? Because the Bible says you have not because you ask not. But I know you ain't begging, you don't ask nobody for nothing. But what are the needs of God-given hands?
Well, what I like to say is, if you see anyone out there that's doing the work and they're doing some good work, get involved and help. Not only that, if you have the ability to donate, then do so also. That's all at this particular time. That's all I can say.
Well, you said a lot. You say a lot because, like you say, your work speak for you. And again, with all of those affiliates that you work with, man, thank God for them, and thank God for you, and thank God for your volunteers and those who donate to you. And we encouraging other people to donate, because let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, in closing. Yes, I publish the National Black Unity newspaper. And we have a variety of people, just like brother Rico Crawley right here, who does a wonderful work. And see, this is the type of collaboration we have in this publication. We just don't talk the talk. We are walking in our own individual ways. And that's why I say this is what you call a collaboration. And you'll find a lot of people like Rico Crawley in the National Black Unity News who are doing great and wonderful things. But every once in a while, you run across people who doing extremely special work. And and I personally would love to see them all across this country, man, because I know, the charity begins at home, and I don't know the goals and aspirations of God-given hand, but I do know people are starving and hungry in Baltimore County, Hagerstown, and anywhere you go, you will find people who need help. And we don't take care of our own, then who will? And government does what they do, but it's up to us, because like I say, by the grace of God, I could be in those lines. And like I say, I'm a senior citizen on limited income. And yes, things do get tight sometimes. So thank God for people. Like I said, they ain't like the way people think all the time. Like you say, when this pandemic hit, did you see who was in those lines? People had good jobs one time. I mean, they was sitting on top. Middle class, middle America was in those lines getting food. Because don't say it won't happen to you, because it already has happened. And if we don't take care of our own, and look at, I'm just saying, I'm not rambling on, but I'm just to remind you, did you see what's happening going on around the world in Africa? People starving and hungry, and then you see people in Ukraine and all of these places. People, I mean, desperate. I pray the food now is so valuable to people. Now, can you imagine? Can you imagine that this could happen to you? Like I say, you never know what could take place. So, Brother Rico, I appreciate you, man. Keep up the good work, and God bless you, brother, and God bless God-given hands, because y'all do a great and wonderful work. And I want to thank our listening audience for tuning in, and we will be bringing more people on to share some of the works that we are doing behind the scene with the National Black Unity News. And thank God for my friend, my buddy, man, my comrade, Brother Rico Crawley, because he does a great work, man. And when you talk to a brother like him, he's extremely inspirational. So thank you, brother. I'm gonna bid you good evening, and you take care. And take care, man.
Thank you, Brother David Murphy. Peace and blessings, everybody. God bless us. Good night.
Good night.